This is the oil pump out of a Gardner 2UC gearbox. The oil pump in the 3UC gearbox just works exactly the same principle. It's just bigger, that's all. So I'm going to just take a quick look at how you can test these pumps. It's not an everyday occurrence because taking the pump out is really quite an undertaking. So how do they work? It's so simple. There's a ball bearing here at the bottom. So as the oil is sucked up, the ball bearing, by virtue of its weight, is inclined to fall down. So that acts as a non-return valve. That's your input valve. And this little element in here, there's another ball valve which acts as the output valve. I'll show that to you now in a minute. So now we'll dismantle this pump and see how we can test it. That's the pump dismantled. If I take out the lower element, this little plunger here, if you have a look in there, you'll see there's a ball bearing, as I described. So again, by virtue of its weight, that ball bearing is inclined to fall down. So the oil is quite happy to come up past it, but not happy to go back down. So that's your output valve, as I explained. And we've got holes here, multiple holes at the top, to allow the oil to flow out. So how do we test? Oh, and there's a spring, of course, as you would expect. How do we test it? Pathetically simple. We simply get a bowl of oil, put the bottom end of the pump in there like that, operate the bottom plunger, and copious amounts of oil will very soon pour out. So there you have it. Really very, very simple. Now, what I need to make clear here is that the bottom piston is doing the sucking up the way. But there's actually two pistons in this pump. There's also a piston in the top half. What function does it have? Well, it's very simple. As the eccentric rotates, it pushes that upper piston up, and it uncovers a number of little small holes in the top here, which means that the pressure developed in here, inside in the body of the pump, can actually express oil through these three holes here, and that sprays oil onto the big bearing at the back. Now, I also need to make clear that the main shaft is hollow, and in it there's actually a hole in the eccentric. So the oil under pressure comes through that hole and is distributed forward in the gearbox along that hollow shaft. It's all really very clever. So if you're rebuilding one of these gearboxes and you want to know is the oil pump working, you'll have tested it beforehand, of course, but if you want to test that it's working in situ, there's a screw at the very back of the shaft, right in the center. You simply unscrew that screw, and while the engine's running, while the gearbox is in gear, you'll see oil coming out there, and then you know it's working for sure. Don't run these gearboxes for long in neutral, because this pump only works as long as the output shaft is rotating. So in neutral, they're not really getting lubrication. I hope you found that of interest. Thanks a lot.